Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another weekly conditioning for BrAMS class here on Facebook. I'm Rich. Welcome to all the returning people that have been doing this since we started. Welcome to the new people as well. This is a collaboration class between myself and people down at BrAMS for people with MS. So fingers crossed you're here because you've been referred here by one of the physios or nurses or neurologists or something like that down at the BrAMS at the Brain Centre at Southmead Hospital. If you're not and you haven't been sent here by those people, just be aware that this is a very specific class for specific levels and those kinds of things, okay? Please only do what you feel like you can do today, okay? This is a class about building confidence through range of motion, through balance, those kinds of things. This isn't a hip-based class. This isn't a high energy get super sweaty type of class. This is just trying to perfect, trying to gain confidence, and maybe introduce a few new elements to everyday kind of movement patterns and those kinds of things. I always like to talk about what kind of feelings that you'll get today from a physiological point of view. So if you feel like any kind of warm sensations in the arms, in the muscles, in the legs, those kinds of things, that's perfectly fine and perfectly normal. A little bit of mild discomfort, a little bit of heat within the muscles is perfectly fine. If you start to feel any kind of sharp pains in the muscles or any pain in the joints themselves, like knees, elbows, those are the kinds of things that we don't want. Generally, you can kind of put that down to the muscles not doing any work and the strain going onto the ligaments, the tendons, those kinds of things, and we don't want that at all. So if you do come across any pains in the joints during today's session, please try and take it back a level, those kinds of things. Maybe take a rest period, something like that. If you come across any problems today, if it's problems with the movements technique wise, then please let me know. And if it's to do with any kind of symptoms or anything like that, please refer back to your neurologist, your nurse, the physio, whoever you're dealing with down at the BrAMS department further to talk to them about the ins and the outs of that. Okay, things you're going to need today, you're going to need a seat. As always, I do recommend one with arms on the side if you've got them. As we can see from my beautiful seat here, it is a seat from the outdoors. It's from the garden patio set, but it's the only one I've got with arms and that works. Please make sure whatever kind of seat you're using, you are nice and secure in it, in that it's not going to obviously unfold or fold up on you. Additionally, please make sure that it's one that's not going to slip around everywhere. So if you are on, parquet flooring or laminates or something like that, please make sure your chair's not going to slip out on you and all those kinds of things. What you also might want is some fluid. I did bring some water in here with me. Just a nice bit of cold water to help regulate the internal body. Have a little bit of a sip, as we all like to do when we're working out. Cheers. As well, so a nice bit of fluid. You may want, and I'm going to continue to recommend this as time goes on, some form of ball. Okay, just a small one that you can kind of generally hold between your knees, that kind of thing. If you haven't got a ball, don't worry, you could use a cushion, you can use a cuddly toy, something along those lines. But it's just something a little bit extra to help us with certain movements and to add a certain little extra element to other movements, those kinds of things. Mine's called John. This is John the ball, and that's because it's got John written on it rather than me actually giving my ball a name. You might want a flannel kind of to help cool down the body temperature, something like that, or a towel to wipe away any frustrations that come along down there. And space. Obviously you need space. I am precariously in here with the Christmas tree, so I'm going to do my best. But do make sure that you have a good space all the way around the body, maybe even up above as well, because we don't want to be hitting anything along those lines. Good. Okay, so the way that the class works is we've got 8 exercises today. We've got some new ones, so you wily veterans, there are some new movements to get your head around today. And we're going to work on, we're going to go through all 8 exercises twice on a 45-second work, 75-second rest period, okay? I'll introduce obviously the first movement, then the next 75 seconds while we take on water, have a giggle, just send a text. I'll introduce the next movement from there as well. It's an online class, so there is a chat option. My screen is over to my left over here, so forgive me if I don't see your chat or your question or anything straight away, but by all means pop something in the chat, say hello, you know, all those kinds of things, let us know you're here as well. Like I say, it is right next to me, and there is about a 10-second delay between what I say and what comes out on stream, so do be aware that I might take a minute or 2 minutes to even notice that there's a question or something going up on there as well. Obviously, if you're rewatching this either via YouTube or Facebook and it's not live, chances are I'm not going to live respond to your question, I'm afraid, because I'm probably out somewhere else doing something else. That's all we've got today, so let's get on with our warm-up, I guess. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so bit of water. I've got a bit of a sore throat at the moment. What we're going to do is we're going to start off on one side of the body, do a bits of bobs down that side, then we'll do the opposite side, and then we'll do some bilateral movements and those kinds of things. So, starting off right at the bottom of the body, we want to get in some mobility work around the ankle joint. So, if you can hold your leg up and you want to hold your leg up, great. Draw circles with your toe in one direction. Okay. If we haven't got the strength to keep that leg off the floor, keep your toes on the floor and draw circles with your heel. One or the other, we're drawing nice big circles with either your heel or your toe. Getting that ankle mobility going, and the opposite way as well. I always find that when you leave your toe on the floor doing this exercise, the foot kind of disappears quite quickly. Like my knee's already coming across my body. Great, so we've got some nice circles going on there. We're going to do the same with the knee now, drawing circles with the knee. You may want to shuffle towards the end of your seat to give yourself a little bit wider range of motion if you've got arms there, but just drawing big circles with the knee. And really, this doesn't matter whether your foot is on the floor or it is off the floor. It's just nice big circles in one direction with the knee. And we'll take it the opposite way as well. Remember, just as long and as far and as slowly as well. Let's put slowly in there as well as you possibly can do today. Great work there. Let's take it to the upper body. We're going to put one hand on the shoulder, draw some circles with the elbow next. Right round as far as you can go. Feel those shoulder blades squeeze in as you go back. Trying to keep our shoulder low, trying not to let it travel up towards our ears. Let's take it the opposite way now as well. I think I was going backwards. Once again, nice big controlled circles throughout. And we kind of come down from there into our wrists. So the Queen's wave. Nice big circles one way. I am right by my front window, so if people walk past right now, I probably look really weird waving out the window at them. Let's go the opposite way as well. And then we're going to start all the way down again on the other side of the body. Okay, so once again, nice big circles with either your toe or your ankle, depending on how we're feeling with that leg today. Nice big controlled circles. Once again, let's try and do them as slowly and as in control as possible. And don't worry about, don't get too concerned about challenging yourself, okay? If you feel up to the challenge today, then do it. If you've never lifted your foot up for the warm-up to do a circle, don't be afraid to try it, but in the same vein, how are you feeling today? Is the extra challenge there for you? Go the opposite way of the circle. And that's kind of the theme throughout all of the movements that we do today, okay? We are looking to stay consistent with our movements. That's true, and just by turning up, you're being consistent with it if you're here week in and week out. Circles with the knee next. But sometimes it's tricky to take that next step into the challenge factor. So don't worry if you can't, if you don't feel like it today, especially with the way the world's burning down at the moment. Just turning up and doing a little bit is more than enough right now. And circles around the opposite way as well with the knee. Once again, just keep it into control, keep it nice and slow, and just really try and eke out as much range of motion as you can with each single motion. And we're up to the hand on the shoulder and some circles next with the arm. Almost like you're swimming. Nice rotation in that shoulder. Once again, remembering to keep the shoulder down away from the earlobe. Let's take it in the back, the opposite direction that you've been doing it. Hopefully your shoulder isn't clicky as mine. And then into the wrist as well. So we'll do big circles with the wrist one way. And then the opposite way as well. Okay, so this is where it starts to get a little bit dicey. We're going all the way back down to the floor again. We're going to do the same movements, but we're going to try and do both the left and the right at the same time. So starting with those toes or heels, you're drawing circles around the same direction. So remember, we're either doing our foot's off the floor, we're drawing circles with those toes, or our heels are on the, our toes are on the floor and we draw circles with the heels. And let's go the opposite direction, whichever one you're doing today. Cool. Doing both at the same time. Let's see if the brain can deal with that one, shall we? Unison. And then into the knees next then. So same situation. Both at the same time is what we're looking for. If our feet stay on the floor through those big circles with the knees, that's fine. Remember just how confident you are today, how you're feeling today. And especially on that downward section on this knee circle. See if you can control it and keep it nice and slow. So don't just let the feet drop out or anything like that. Nice and controlled. We'll go the opposite way as well. You get bonus points if your knees don't touch each other. So if your knees are apart, bonus points for you. My bonus points, that's you just giving yourself a tap on the shoulder, because I can't give you a sweet or anything like that for super performance. Nice and controlled though. Circles with the knees. And then we go to the upper body again. Hands on shoulders. Both rotating forward together or backwards, whichever way round you wish to do first. Nice big circles. Are they in unison? Let's go the opposite way as well. Once again, thinking about those shoulders, trying hard for those shoulders not to rise all the way up to our ears. Let's keep them down and low. And then onto the wrists, round the same way to start with, round and round. Now I look like I'm dancing to a techno song. And then the opposite way as well. Lovely stuff. Okay. What we're going to do next is we're just going to keep the legs moving. Okay, so depending on your range of motion and your comfort, our legs are going to keep moving in like a walking situation. So either that's heel raises or knee raises, whatever it is, we're just going to continue to keep those legs moving in as much control as possible. Now with a lot of the exercises that we're going to do today, the further you push your bottom to the edge of the seats, the more challenging it's going to be, because you're going to have to use your body to balance more. Okay, so if your bum's right back in the seat, in this position doing this little march, that's going to be much easier than if you're all the way at the end of your seat doing with the march. Okay, so just take that into consideration. If you're finding a movement slightly difficult, shift that bum back a little bit. Stabilize maybe with your hands on the shoulder, on the armchairs, something along those lines. Okay, so we've got that nice little movement going on with the legs. We want to keep that going the entire time. Okay, with the hands now, we're going to start doing some movements. So first, I want you to move them up and down with the same leg which is moving. So almost like they're connected by a string. Up and down. Let's see how big that range of motion you can get. Obviously, because your range of motion is getting bigger, it's going to take more time for it to go up or down. So that means you're going to have to control that foot and let its movement go a little bit slower. And back to a small movement. All right, let's change a little bit. Opposite leg, opposite arm now. So now we're going opposites. Same thing. Nice little movements with the legs. Paticate with the hands. Big range of motion. Oh, I see I've already messed up there. Big range of motion. Which means now we're controlling the motion a little bit more. Those legs are moving a little bit slower to enable the hands to get up and down. Back nice and fast. Let's go out and in. Out and in with the rhythm now. Out, in, out, in. Now we're definitely dancing. Same old two-step. We'll go up, down, out, in. Up, down, out, in. Whatever your rhythm with your feet is. Up, down, out, in. There we go. Keep it under control. Last few now. Lovely stuff. Okay. So as I mentioned at the beginning, we are going 8 exercises. We have 45 seconds of work per exercise, and that will be followed by 75 seconds of recuperation. If you need it, rest, drink break, me talking about the next exercise, that kind of thing. So our first movement today, excuse me. Hello Milan, how are you today? Our first movement today will be, as always, is going to be our sit to stand, okay? So depending on where you are, depending on how you're feeling today, we've got various different challenge factors for you. We've got a bum raise, we've got assisted stand, and then we've got non-assisted stand, okay? So, bum raise is all about going from our seat, where all of our weight is through our bums, and we're looking to get ourselves to a position where all of our weight is through our feet. Okay, so we've just got that slight little bum raise, out of the seat, and then back down. With or without support, dealer's choice, okay? Once we're comfortable there, and we're getting our weight over our feet, we're getting our center of balance, then we can add the stand-up element, okay? So once we're up, we're squeezing those glutes together to get us to full standing, and slowly down as well. If you're comfortable with both those, then you've got the unassisted stand up from there, okay? So we go 45 seconds, 75 seconds rest. Here we go, 3, 2, 1. Time has started. So it's all about where your challenge factor is today. Take your weight from the chair, get it over the feet. That's what we're looking today. And whichever motion you're doing, okay, what I really want you to try and do is on those lowering sections, okay, you're coming down just as slowly as you got up. So try not to drop into your seat. Try not to fall back onto your bums. Try and come down nice and slowly. We've got about 5 seconds to go. Keep good control. There we go. All right. So that's our first one, that sit to stand. Staying with the legs slightly, we're going to look at our calf muscles. So the muscles behind your shins. And let me just turn around to the side for this one. So all we're looking to do is we're sat up as normal. And we're looking to raise our heels as high as we can whilst keeping our toes on the floor. Boop, boop. Okay, that's our movement. What I'd like us to do is add a pause to the top of that movement. So we come up, pause, then back down. So we really are getting those heels up as high as we can. We're holding it there, and then we're bringing it back down. If we want to kind of challenge yourself a little bit more, and you've got a work surface near you, or a table, or even your chair, if it's suitable and can support you, what we can look to do is increase the challenge factor by just kind of doing it from a standing position. Up, hold, back down. Okay, so it's almost like we get up, we hold it, and then it's slowly back down again. Okay, so we do have 45 seconds, off we go. So nice and controlled, remember. Up, holding, back down slowly. Up, holding, back down slowly. We're looking to squeeze as much as we can out of those calves as we get on up. Up, hold, and then back down. Okay, we got 15 seconds. Remember, we're not trying to do as many reps as possible. What we're looking to do is as many good reps as possible. Okay, last 5 seconds, that's probably enough time for 2 at most. Because it's up, hold, slowly down. There it is, lovely. Okay, that's our calf raises. So this will be the first exercise in this first round for which we use our object. So if you've got a ball or a pillow or a cuddly toy, that's what you're going to use now. If you don't have any of those, that's perfectly fine. Just do the motion with your hands, okay? So we're just looking to bring our legs a little bit further apart than normal. Okay, so obviously not straight out of the hip. So there is a nice little bit of space between the legs. And all you're going to do is take your object, or just your hands, and you're going to start between those legs, and we're going to swing them all the way up and all the way down again. Just full control up and then all the way down. Now, to adjust the difficulty factor, it's all about how far your bum is into your seat. As we talked about at the beginning, if your bum's all the way back, this is nice and stable for you. If our bum's on the edge of our seats, there's much less contact for our base, so it's a little bit more challenging. So find your depth on the seat, and it's off we go in 2, 1, off we go. There it is. All the way up and slowly back down. That's really the key thing I want you to take away from this, is nice and controlled movements down. It's a little bit faster on the way up, but when we're coming down, keep it in good control. So let's say it takes us 2 seconds to get up, and say 3 seconds on the way down. Wonderful stuff. And remember, it's your range of motion today. So depending on how you feel, you might get all the way up, you might get halfway up, whatever your range of motion is. 3, 2, 1. There we go. Lovely. Now you can continue to use the ball for the next exercise if you want. But it's not necessary really. We're going to do floor touches from the seat. And as with everything else, this one is becomes more difficult the more, once again, we shift our bum towards the end of the seat. So it's going to be much more challenging from here than it is further back in the seat. All you're looking to do is touch the floor by the sides of your hips. So I've got my sat up posture, I come down as far as I can by my hips, bring myself back up. That's it. You can see how my body is going side to side like a pendulum rather than forward. So find your hips. There's my hips, good. There's the bottom of the floor. Down, touch, up, down, touch, up. From there, okay? Using a ball or a cushion will bring the floor up to you if you're having a bit of difficulty getting to the floor, if you don't have that range of motion. Regardless, however you're doing it today, bum's ready, off we go. Remember, if you've got arms on your chair as well, and you're finding it very tricky, or especially to get back up, we can utilize those arms to bring us a little bit of extra support back on up. But we really want to concentrate on our core here. That belly button is squished on in towards our spine. Those shoulders are fired back as we move side to side. And it's a nice slow movement. It's nice and controlled. There's no jerky motions or anything like that. Just take your time. That is our 45 seconds. Good. Side touch. Okay, we're on to knee raises next. So we did a few knee raises in the warm-up, but the key part of our knee raises during the round is going to be what we do at the top. So when you get to the top of your range of motion, much like the calf raises, I want you to hold it there for the briefest of seconds, maybe 1 second, 2 seconds if you can. So that knee comes up, there's a hold, and then there's a back down as well. So we've got a control up and a hold, and then back down as well. Okay, so the down section, keep it under control, don't let it just drop down. When we get to the top, you're holding it at that top as well before we bring it down. Okay, changing the difficulty factor, bums in the back of the seats, bums at the front of the seat, because that's going to challenge your balance. Okay, we've got much more comfort here, much more contact basing us down in balance here than we have at the top of your range of motion. Okay, so regardless of what you're doing today, off we go. Up with the knee, hold, slowly lowered. Up with the knee, hold, down it goes. So much like our overhead movement that we just did. Fast, well, up, hold, slower down. So maybe it takes 1 second up, 1 second hold, 2 seconds down. That's the kind of control that we want to be getting in. So that's like 5 seconds a rep, maybe 4 seconds a rep. So with 10 seconds left, maybe you get 2, 3 movements at most. That's all we're doing today. It's about slow and in control, deliberate movements. There we go, great stuff. Okay, we come back to the upper body next, and we're going to do one of our favorites, the punches or the fist bumps, whatever you want to call them, pretending we're on the dance floor. And all we're looking to do is that we're sat up nice and straight, and it's 1 forward, 2 forward, 1 high, 2 high, 1 to the side, 2 to the side, and then we go back again. As with every other movement that we do, it's all about nice and in control. So we are trying to get to the biggest range of motion we got, pushing forward as much as we can. We're not bringing the hips into it, we're not twisting in with it or anything like that. We're just taking the arm out and the arm back, and it's the same when we hit overhead and we hit out to the side as well. Each different one, we're just getting out to the fullest range of motion before the twist comes in, and then nice and slow and in control coming back as well. 45 seconds worth of work. I mean, you're talking 2 to 3 seconds per movement. So, you're only looking at about 10, 11, 12. So maybe twice through, 3 times through, that's about it. Okay, off we go. 45 seconds are on the clock. And remember, the key is just like everything else. If you shift your bum towards the end of the seat, it means it's going to be a little bit more challenging in regards to balance. Okay, so if you're finding the movements perfectly fine and you want to challenge yourself a little bit more, you just shift that bum to the end of the seat. Notice how we're doing one at a time, and we're not setting that second hand off until the first one is parked back at our start position. We got less than 5 seconds to go. Working through to the end. There it is. Lovely stuff. Okay, next movement. Once again, we can use the ball if we want to, your pillow, your cuddly toy, or you can just do the arm movements, okay? What I'm going to ask you to do is place 1 foot in front of the other, heel to toe. Doesn't matter which way round it is, it's just heel to toe, okay? And what we're looking to do from this position, so let me go to the side just so you can see it very quickly. So we're in a heel toe position, and we're upper body nice and straight, and we're just going to do single arm raise, back down, single arm raise, back down. So if we are using an object, you can use the ball to concentrate on that kind of thing. Now what we're looking to do with this one is challenge our balance, okay? That's why we put heel to toe in that front position, because by bringing our base closer, it makes it more challenging. So once again, once you find yourself in this position, if you want to make it more challenging, we shuffle our bum towards the edge of the seat, heel to toe, same situation, and we challenge our balance through moving the arms, okay? 45 seconds, off we go. And all we're doing is, once again, nice and slow and in control with that movement, okay? We're raising it up as high as we can. There's no twist as well, so we're not twisting and turning it out to the side. It's just up and then back down. And if we're using the ball, that's great. Try and bring a little bit of weight into your feet, okay? So don't just balance precariously on your butts. Try and bring a little bit of weight into your feet. So we are really having to concentrate on that balance aspect. 3, 2, 1. Lovely stuff. Okay. Final one is our leg extensions. And what we're looking to do, coming from the side, is we're just looking to sit nice and comfortably in the chair, get as much contact as we can through our thighs. Legs are on the floor, and then we're just looking to bring the foot up to a straight position as much as we can. So it could just be this tiny little bit of motion, okay? Kicking that foot up as high as you can through every single motion. If we want to take it a step further, once you've straightened the legs, try and bring the whole leg off of the chair. And then, as always, our key to making it more difficult, once again, is that shifting of our bums towards the edge of the seat. So this is much more challenging. As you can see, my range of motion from here with the straight leg situation is much different than when I've got much more here. So we can see I've got a much straighter leg here, and when I do it further out here, it's not as straight. So we can see how that's making a little bit more challenging. Okay, 3, 2, 1, off we go. Straighten those legs as much as you can. Okay, so we're trying, or as much as your thigh in contact with the chair as you can. Once you're comfortable and you'll be able to get those straight legs, then we start lifting the thigh as well. And if we're able to do that, then we just shift our bums a little bit further down the chair. Okay, yeah, good. We've got that leg raised, we're comfortable there. Let's bring that high thigh as well. Remember, it's how you feel today. There we go, and there's time. Excellent stuff. Okay, so second round, we're going to go through those 8 exercises once more. Let's check the time. We're good, we're fine. What we're going to do is I want you to think a lot more about posture, okay? So when we talk about posture, I mean what's going on from your hips upwards. We want to kind of emulate being told off in school at 7 years old in assembly. Or when the teacher would let, you know, whoever goes out to play first, whoever sat up the best, that good upper body sat up straight posture, okay? What I want you to think about is your shoulder blades here. You can't see it, I'm afraid, but you know what I'm talking about, shoulder blades. We want to be forcing them down towards our back pockets, okay? So this is what a normal stance looks like. When I'm actively pushing my shoulder blades back, you can see how my shoulders drive backwards, okay? It changes my entire posture. So once again, from the side, normal, slightly hunched forward, you can see that, but I actively push my shoulder blades back and down towards my back pockets. My chest rolls up, my shoulders go back, I'm in a much better position. So what I want you to think about, either seated or standing, is if you were just to put your hands behind your back, and then if you straighten them a little bit, you can see how that's doing exactly the same thing. So I'm forcing my body into that upper body posture. So that's the kind of idea that we want. So when I talk about posture and I say check your posture, that's what I want you to think about. Driving those shoulder blades into your back pockets, and that changes everything hips upwards, okay? Good. So we go back to the top of our sit to stand, posture on the mind. Remember, we've got the butt raise, we've got the assisted stand, we've got the unassisted stand, okay? Regardless of the three you're doing, the key aspect is transferring your weight from being carried by the chair to being carried by your feet, okay? 45 seconds, 3, 2, 1, off we go. And remember, this time, we've got much more of an eye on posture. So, shoulders are back and down. As we're firing up, posture is still there. Weight on the feet and back down. Back up we come and back down. Almost fell there because I did not keep my hands on one side of that chair. And back down. All the way up. Oh, just as slow, all the way back down. So we're all the way up. We're nice and slow all the way back to that seat. No dropping in. Time done. Good. Back down to the calf. Once again, we are working specifically the calf area right now. Those back to those legs, those muscles there. Pushing muscles, very important for things like going upstairs, for walking along, for jogging along, running along, those kinds of things. Just because that's all we're working doesn't mean we can ignore the upper body. So let's think about that upper body posture. Let's sit up nice and straight like we're trying to get out of assembly early. Okay, so remember, we were doing high, hold, slower down. Okay, so if we're in our seat, our posture's set, upper body's good through our movements. If you are doing it stood up, because you're confident enough, you're comfortable enough, you've developed enough, those kinds of things, you're either working over your surface or your table, two hands on, that's being bilateral, not unilateral, nice and balanced up, hold back down, or even on your chair, okay? Regardless of which one you're doing, we've got 45 seconds for a controlled movement all the way through. 3, 2, 1, off we go. Holding, slowly back down. So remember, it's nice and controlled. That upper body posture, those shoulder blades are trying their best to get into your back pockets. Almost think of it like you had a mirror in front of you and you'd be able to read something on the front of your top, okay? Regardless of whichever movement you do in the gym, the majority of the time, if you can keep in that good chest high position, shoulders back position, you should be able to read your top in the mirror, and that's what we're looking to do with that upper body posture. Last 3 seconds, that's probably enough time for one more. Remember the hold at the top, back down, there it is. Okay, we're back to our swinging motion next. Legs wider apart than we're used to. Let's see if we can get a little bit further out of the chair as well, so we've got more space between the legs. Okay, and we're sat up. Now we've got that added element of that posture, remember. Okay, so that's another thing for you to think of, another thing for you to try and perfect on our motion. And that's what it is. Shoulders are back and down, upper body posture set. And we're just rolling it from our crotch area all the way overhead and then all the way back down. Remember, coming back down, we're coming down a little bit slower than we went up. So time yourself on the way up. So let's say 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've got a 3, 4 second there. 3 up, 4 down. 7 seconds means I'm going to do about 6 reps probably over the 45 seconds. So keep your rhythm, keep your pace, and off we go. We've got a little bit of weight on our feet, a little bit of weight on our bum, and it's lots of good control throughout. All the way high, as far as your range of motion goes up, shoulders should never come up towards the ears, all the way back down. Those shoulder blades are actively forcing their way into your back pockets, like they're trying to grab your phone. Back down. We're 30 seconds in, you got 15 seconds to go. That's probably enough for 2 to 3 more nice, deliberate movements. 3, 2, one. Finish the one you're on. There you go, lovely stuff. All right, down to our side touches. So, side touches, we're looking to grab that floor as far as our range of motion is going to let you go through each side, remember. Wherever you're sat in that chair, that's where you're trying to get under your hips on each side. So you are rocking side to side like a pendulum. You've got arms there to support you should you need a little bit of help or a little bit of encouragement to get back up. If you're a little bit concerned, you're going to topple over the chair, please only keep going until your butt cheeks start to raise. That's your key, okay? If you find that your butt cheek is raising, losing contact with the chair, that's your range of motion gone. We should be able to fold to the side without the butt cheek coming off. So please, if you notice your butt cheek disappearing, that's the end of your range of motion. Keep the butt cheeks on the floor. All right, 45 seconds of the side floor touches. 3, 2, 1, and we're off. And remember, just like everything else, this is a nice, slow movement, okay? There's no jerkiness, there's no stop-start. It's nice and smooth and deliberate all the way through. Remember, you're shifting your bum towards the end of the seat for a little bit more challenge. Alternatively, you could bring one arm over with you. That's going to do a little bit more engagement through the oblique, maybe through the QL as well from there. But if you do, just be aware, feel the butt cheek. Okay, if the butt cheek comes off, boom, like this, end of rep, come on back. That's your management, that's your kind of your dashboard, that's your speedometer on this one. Oh, too far, bring it on back. Good stuff. Okie dokie, we're back to the knee raise. So once again, now we can really look at something else to do with the knee raise, because we are bringing the knee up as far as we can, great. We are holding it at the top and bringing it down, great. But now we've got the added factor of posture. Okay, so because we're holding our posture, if you feel it very difficult and you find your posture breaks down, that's the end of your range of motion. Okay, so previously we weren't concentrating on our posture. Let's say we could get our knee up to about 45 degrees from the hips. All right, boom, boom. However, if we put posture in and we get to that 45 and you notice your posture drops, it's too far. Okay, I only want the knee going up as high as we can get it until your posture breaks down. So hold the posture, and that might just be the tiniest stamp jump off the floor, and that's fine. Okay, just going until your posture breaks down. Okay, 45 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and we're off. Remember, there's a hold at the top and then slowly back down. Don't just drop it. Slowly, controlled back down. Everything we do are nice, deliberate movements. There's just as much muscle work going on the eccentric movement. Okay, so keep it nice and controlled. That posture is set. We're forcing those shoulder blades into our back pockets. Maybe you're even sat with your arms crossed. Or to encourage that posture, maybe your hands are behind the back. Whichever you're doing, good upper body posture. We're timed out there with the knee raises. Everybody's favourite next, I'm sure, because it's a lot like dancing, is the punching. So once again, this is about deliberate, controlled movements. So we want it nice and slow. And make sure that everything you do is done with a purpose, okay? So what we don't need is to just go or anything like that. It really is movement 1, back to the start. Movement 2, back to the start. And then we go through the other ones. Obviously this round we've got a kind of concentration on that posture situation. So throughout, every time we return, we make sure that posture is set. Boom. Your range of motion, okay? Once again, if you find when you do it, your posture breaks down, bring it back, reset, go on to the next one, okay? Posture conscious is what we want to be throughout. Upper body in a beautiful position throughout. Okay, getting ready then. Forward, forward, top, top, side, side. 3, 2, 1, off we go. Boom. Doesn't have to be the fist if you don't want to. Like I say, you could just raise the roof, push the walls away, push the walls away. Maybe you're slicing through the air with a knife, slicing away. However you want to pop your hand is perfectly fine. But we're just taking that arm up through the biggest range of motion, through side to side, through the postman that's going to try and knock on my door to deliver my goods right now. High, high, side, side. And that's time. Good. 45 seconds. Done. Okay. Next one is that one where we're trying to challenge the balance. And this is one of the things we're going to incorporate a little bit more in our leveling scheme. Okay. So that's why we're kind of introducing it to a degree today. So we already know from the last couple of weeks, you can add and take away challenge by our hips, how far back in the chair they are, versus being on the edge of our seats. We know that that can increase our challenging situation. Much in the same way, we can challenge ourselves from a balance point of view with our legs. So if our legs are wider, that's much easier for us to balance because we've got a wider base than when we bring them together. And in turn, this forward and back heel to toe motion. Okay, so that's where we are today for this movement. Remember, from the side, posture is set. One forward, one back, heel toe, both on the floor still, touching each other. And we've got that arm swinging motion. Now, if you are using a ball or a pillow, here's what I want. Up, down, and I want you to pass it under the legs this time. Up, down, adding an extra element of difficulty. Okay? 45 seconds, off we go. So think posture the whole time. So when you're doing that passing underneath, those shoulders are still drawn back. Up, down, under we go. Up, down. And what you can do is if you don't have that pillow or that ball or that cuddly toy, just tap your hands underneath. So hand up, hand down, tap. Up, down, tap. I am so happy that Christmas tree didn't fall down there, by the way. 3, 2, 1. There we go, time. Okay, back to the last one. Sorry, John. There we go. Let's put John back. Give him a little bit of respect, shall we? Last one that we've got for you today then, and we've done it once before, is the leg extension. In fact, I'll say to the side, I think this is one of those ones which is much better to see from the side. And all it is we're doing a good upper body posture and then straightening the legs. Just like I talked about with the knee raises, okay? Posture is what we're thinking about. Once again, what you'll find is when you do these leg extensions, okay, especially when you start to try and raise the leg off as well, it's very difficult to keep a good posture with that extension. So we're always dictated by what our posture does. So your range of motion is now directly connected to your posture. So even if you could put a little bit more in, if it's breaking your posture, we don't do it, okay? So you're just moving as far until you feel either your posture breaks down or until we can add that little bit of a raise in as well. 45 seconds, 3, 2, 1, and we are away. Nice and controlled. Keep that posture going. Keep those shoulder blades in the back pockets. Maybe, just like previous ones, okay, you've got those hands behind the back, which is going to force good posture. Maybe even got like special handles or something that you could do and support the body in that posture. Maybe you're happy just holding those shoulder blades back and down. Maybe you're adding that slight raise of the hamstring as well through it. But whichever you're doing, keep good posture in that back pocket. 3, 2, 1, nailed it. Okay, that is our circuit done for the day. So what we're going to do is let's do a little bit of stretching off, and I am a keen enthusiast of chair stretching, because if we learn how to stretch in a chair, then we can do it throughout the day, whether we're at desks, we're on the sofa, whether you're Netflixing or work, etc, etc. If we can bring an element of stretching in there, then we can be more consistent with our stretching throughout the day. And I really would recommend stretching at least 2 to 3 times a day for maximum benefits. Once you build it into your daily life, your daily habits and those kinds of things, it becomes much easier to continue with. And the benefits are absolutely brilliant. Anyway, stretching from the chair. First and foremost, let's start all the way down at the lower body. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to want you to do is I want you to just take your legs as far apart as you can. Obviously, if you sit on the edge of your seat, the challenge factor of this does go up a little bit, maybe a little bit kind of more challenging. But we're just going to take ourselves forward fold towards the floor. Okay, if you can bring your hands to the floor, great. If you're comfortable with that, maybe you bring yourself down to a coffee table or yoga blocks or something like that. We've just got an element of a forward fold in here whilst having our feet under our knees, okay? So we're getting a bit of a stretch in the hip flexors to start with. If we can get there a little bit more range of motion in there, then that helps free up some other areas we want to have a little stretch on. So then we're going to bring ourselves up and out of that, and then we're just going to move those legs slightly further forwards so we just have our heels on the floor, okay? And then we're going to do the same thing again, just a forward fold as far as we feel comfortable with. The stretch comes onto those hamstrings next, okay? The toes pointing away from the body. They've just gone out of shot, unfortunately. But they are kind of ballerina toes away rather than anything else. So now we should feel this maybe a little bit more on the hamstrings. We bring ourselves all the way back up. This time we bring our toes facing up. Okay, so previously on the last one our toes were forward. This time we're facing up, so legs are still wide. They're now far out in front of us, but the toes are up as we bring ourselves down. This is just going to bring a little bit more on the calves this time. Good stuff. And we bring ourselves back up from there. I'm going to just turn around to the side so you can see this a little bit more. Okay, so bring one foot as far back as you can, okay? Maintaining both the heel and toe in contact with the floor, and then the other one is going forward as far as you can. Once again, heel and the toe on the floor. So we're trying to get both feet as far apart as we can while still keeping a flat foot on the floor. And then it's just another forward fold movement, okay? One of the best things to do if you want to increase a stretch a little bit is to take a big deep breath in, and on the exhale then push the stretch. And as we come back up, just like the last time round, I'd like you to bring your toe up and then we go back down again. Hello to you too, Susan. There we go. And then all the way back up, and then let's switch the feet. So, once again, we're back in the flat foot position, whichever one, as far forward and as far back as we can. We got a forward fold. Whatever feels slightly challenging for you today, that's all we're looking for. And then we bring ourselves back on up. Bring that toe nice and high, and then back into that forward fold again. Try not to turn or to twist or anything like that. We are literally just going straight ahead. And as we come back up, let's just take the hands behind the back or behind the chair and push down and away from the shoulder blades. So we've got kind of an exaggerated posture position, squishing those shoulder blades back. Okay. We're going to take one leg and just lump it over the other leg, and then we're going to turn in the opposite direction. Okay, so you can either have hand on the knee to push you around, elbow on the knee to push you around. We're just looking to keep those legs as far away from our twisting body as possible. Try and keep both your butt cheeks on the floor on this one. And then back we come, uncross that leg, let's cross that other leg on over. Once again, force that knee with either the hand or the elbow away and turn on round that other way. Try and maintain as much space between the ears and the shoulders as possible. So don't kind of let that all scrunch up or anything like that. Keep a nice strong neck away from the shoulders. There we go. All right, lovely. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Please leave a comment. Let us know you've been by. Leave a like on the video. Those kinds of things. Also, if you come by and use the videos when they are not live, so either on the YouTube account or on the Facebook, leave a message, let us know you've used it. It's always great to see those that don't join us live. If you've got anything you'd like to see in the class or anything that we've done in the class that you've got questions about, drop me a message in the comments, drop me a message directly, and then we'll try and answer those for you. If you've got any questions regarding something that's come up today, kind of with your symptoms or your mobility or anything like that, do refer back to the people down at the brain department, down at BrAMS. I'm sure they'll be happy to have a word with you about the whole thing. I think that's about it. It is the 23rd next week. It is Christmas week, but we're still going ahead with a class. No worries at all. So I will be here same time next week, and I shall see you all then. Have a great rest of your week.